Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here with Jen Rubinowitz. Hello, Jen. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm
It's a beautiful
good.
day.
It is. It's gorgeous. And we've had this incredible early summer going on. It's been just super. So today we wanted to use the time to talk about the market. So I want to ask you right away, when you say market, are you talking about Jefferson County, Pacific Northwest, Seattle and surrounding? I mean, I think of you as Jefferson County, but what are you going to be talking about today?
Yeah, we're going to talk about Jefferson County, but we're seeing similar trends in all of our surrounding counties,
Mm-hmm.
especially on the Olympic Peninsula. So
Mm-hmm.
actually, we're seeing it pretty much nationwide. So
Yes,
yeah,
there's
but today I'm going to
lots.
focus on Jefferson County and then maybe talk a little bit about Port Townsend if we have time available.
Okay, sounds good. So I'm going to go ahead and just share some of these graphics that you have shared with
Okay.
me.
I'm very
And
visual, so I love spreadsheets and graphs. So I hope everybody enjoys what we're going to be showing today.
yeah, no, I find that these videos get saved and watched later quite a bit because people have an interest in this, whether they're buying or selling, just kind of what's going on,
Yeah, yeah.
and investors as well like to hear this
Hmm.
stuff, especially from
Yeah,
someone who's close to what's going on like you are. So,
yeah.
so median days on the market. What do you have to say about that?
Well, as you can see from this is the last 3 years. And so you
Mm-hmm.
can see we've had a steadily downward trend and we've really dropped substantially over the last year. Um, so this means, depending on if you're on the buying side or the seller side, it's good and bad news, right? So if you're a seller, you're going to have a pretty quick sale in general
Mm-hmm.
because there's a lot of demand right now. So you can see this really steep downgrade this year on how long houses are sitting on the market. So if you're a buyer, that means you're going to be competing with a lot of other buyers and
Of
it's going to
course.
be a quick turnaround. And so unfortunately, what we're seeing is a lot of buyers are having to compete with cash buyers, and it's putting some of our first-time home buyers and some of our guys that need to sell a house before they buy a new one at a disadvantage because there are a lot of cash buyers right now that are doing really quick closes. So that's what this is
Yes.
showing.
So if you're new to the process of buying a home, like I was many years ago, and you come into this environment, probably pretty intimidating, right?
It can be very intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
I tell all my people that when the house that you're meant to have comes on, you will get it. But it
Mm-hmm.
might mean you're making 3 to 20 offers before you get the one that you want.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a patience game for buyers right now.
Mm-hmm.
And of course the sellers are loving it because we'll come in and price at what we believe is market value,
Mm-hmm.
and then there are buyers out there that are just so desperate to have a home that they're going over asking. You know,
Yeah.
it's difficult right now for buyers. It's great right now for sellers. So if you guys are thinking about selling, definitely talk to your favorite broker, hopefully me,
Mm-hmm.
and let's get your house on the market while it's still in this high demand period.
Yes, it's the definitely the time. How fun to have people fighting over your beautiful home, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, kind of amazing to think that that's going on.
yeah.
Um, I'm going to go ahead and close this one out and open up the next one, which is
Okay.
month supply of inventory.
So again, this is just showing we've had a steep drop since last summer on the homes that are actually on the market. Our inventory is the lowest we've seen for the last 3 years. So it's highly competitive right now. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to discourage buyers. Again, I really feel like when it's their time to find one, it'll be there for them. So it's
Yes,
just they have
I
to
think
come
so.
in knowing that this is not just going to be a quick contract sell kind of situation.
Yeah,
They've
so
got to
there's
be in it for the long haul and a big picture.
yeah, and you want the one that you're supposed to have. You don't want to force yourself into the decision. A home is too
Yeah,
big of a decision. So,
yeah. So we've got
uh,
about 45% lower inventory than this time last year.
45% lower than last year. So going into
Yeah,
summer, you had almost 50% more homes to show.
Yeah.
That's pretty significant. Wow.
Yeah. It's very significant. It's very
And that
competitive right now.
it happens so fast, right?
It does, and it's, there's a lot of factors in it. It's, last year
Mhm.
everyone was reacting to the COVID situation where
Mhm.
we didn't quite know at this time last year how we were going to be going through this, and there were people scrambling to move closer to family and closer to where they'd always wanted to live because, life is uncertain. So
Mhm.
it just, anytime you're going through a disaster, and I saw this with Hurricane Harvey too, is people that you think will never move make a change because they realize what's really important to them.
Right. And it's
And
just,
when you're
yeah.
stuck in a house that you realize doesn't fit the fact that now you're working at home, it can be,
Mhm.
I mean, I've seen people working in closets,
Mhm.
because they didn't have anywhere else.
I
So
know.
it's
It's
been it's
crazy.
been an eye opener for everyone.
For sure. I have a client that has a adversity is opportunity in his store, and we refer back to that a lot. And I think adversity also surfaces people's values, right? So if it's
Yeah.
super important to you to give your kid their own room, or for you and your spouse to have more privacy, you want to be on the different floor from your kids, or whatever those issues are that have been bubbling around home. I think when we go through a big crisis or a change, they're like, heck, life is short. Why not make the change? It's
Yeah.
interesting how it forces people through decisions. Um,
And
so
absolutely.
I have, let's see, hold on here. I have median days on market, and then we talked
Hmm.
about month supply of inventory. I think
Hmm.
did you talk about this one? Home for sale. Got it.
Yeah, well, that
Okay.
was the inventory. And
Catching my,
so the
catch,
next one is new listings.
yes, catching myself
So
up there.
here
Okay.
again, now we did see a big dip around this time last year. So we are
Mm-hmm.
a little bit better. And you can see this one in the last 6 weeks, I've seen an increase. And again, this is Jefferson County residential. So I have seen an increase up and down, but generally you can see that upward trend that we
Mm-hmm.
are getting some more listings on the market. So it is starting to soften. And but
Right about here.
even
Yeah.
though we're still below where we need to be on inventory, we're only 10% lower than this time last year on new listings.
So it's a little bit more
So
sane.
you can see that that's an upward, if you look at stocks and bonds, and you can see that we are seeing an upward trend, and you have to look at it, but we're still way below where we were 2
Yep.
3 years ago.
Still not normal, but we're at least recovering a little bit from the insanity. Yes.
Right. Again, this is good news for for sellers because, you know, demand pushes the price up. And so you can
Mm-hmm.
see in Jefferson County, our median sales price has steadily increased.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a drop right around January, February, because there just weren't, people making a move either way. But you can see this is a great upward trend, pretty steady from 3 years ago. So, I think I've told you there's this saying that the best time to buy a house is 5 years ago.
Right.
Because we generally in real estate see a steady rise in sales prices. So,
Hmm.
if you're a buyer and you're saying, well, forget it, I'm just going to wait until this
Mm-hmm.
crazy market goes by. Well,
Mm-hmm.
you're still, it's still a good time to buy because the prices are only going to increase. Jake and
Mm-hmm.
I bought our condo in Port Townsend in 2013. And I can't tell you, I mean, I'm so glad we bought in 2013 because if we'd waited until he retired, I'm not sure we could have afforded it now.
Right. Yep.
So
Yep.
it's really key for buyers to go through their pre-qualification. I not only want to say pre-qualification, I want to say pre-approval. Get
Mm-hmm.
your lender, if there's one involved,
Mm-hmm.
to take you as a buyer all the way through underwriting, because then your seller knows that you have gone through the gamut. They've seen your tax returns, they verified your employment, your income, all of that. So they know. I mean, we've got a couple of lenders here that say we have put these guys through the full underwriting process. So this offer is as good as cash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Yep.
So that Yeah, you can kind of argue that, and I don't want to put new buyers at a disadvantage, but at the same time, when somebody's coming in with cash and you don't have to worry about the appraisal and you don't have to worry about the lender's underwriting for the house, you know, there's a saying, cash is king, and so the more buyers can do, especially if there's a lender involved, to get through that process and make their offer as strong as possible. It's just key right now for them to be
better. Well, and it's so much better to be, you know, tweaking the approval that you already have to get the little extras that you need than starting from scratch when you find the house you want to buy. So, you know, I think about, you know, in college, we all write a term paper, and it's a lot easier to tweak something you got done a week early than it is to add that last paragraph at the last minute. You know, it's similar, you know, it's always good to be ready. I always encourage that. My team and I spent some time on the Coldwell Banker Best Home site today, and we were encouraged to see the variety of price points that you have in your listings. That, I mean, I think the Coldwell Banker brand has a reputation for somewhat luxury homes, and yet there's a really nice mix of, you know, I don't know, mid threes to up to $1 million and over, of course. But it was really nice to see that people at different stages of their life could probably afford to work with you, or if they're wanting to buy their real dream home and it's the 5th home they've had and they're ready to blow out cash, you can also take care of that as well. So it was really encouraging.
Absolutely. I mean, we're a full service brokerage. We love working with buyers and sellers at every stage. And, you know, it's just very satisfying for us to help people through this really difficult transition, because it's a stressful, you know, moving is stressful. There's no way around it. And so anything we can do to help folks, whether they're moving up or they're downsizing or they're first time home buyer. I talked to somebody yesterday that hasn't sold a house in 20 years. And so lots have changed in 20 years since they first bought their home. And so, and you can have the wrong facts memorized, right? So you can think, oh my goodness, Port Townsend or a particular area, that's completely out of my reach, when maybe there's something about it that is within your reach now, because there's new development going on that someone like Jen would know about. So I think it is true that, and just like any big decision, you just have to kind of make sure your facts are current, right? And it's not just based on, well, years ago I couldn't afford that, so it doesn't mean I can now. So, or can't now. So, that's right. And it's important that you've got somebody knowledgeable and calm that can help you through the process.
I can attest to you that Jen is calm. There's 2 Jens on here, and you're the calm one. I'm calm sometimes, but you know how it goes. Anyway, well, good to see some of these facts. I think it's great to see. I love seeing the real numbers myself as well, and I think it's easy to make assumptions. And I think there's more recovery going on here than I think people realize. So I think that's really good to see as well.
Yeah, we're starting to see it calming down a little bit, even though it's still, you know, you've got to be ready if you're a buyer for sure. Yeah. I mean, you know, like our listings are down 55%, or the median days on market is down 55%, but our median sales price is only up about 19%. So it's not a one-on-one, you know, deal that they're in parallel. Prices are up in general in Jefferson County by 20%, but that's because of supply and demand. And as we see the listings start to hit, like we saw on that one slide, you're going to see prices kind of stabilize. Yeah.
And you think going into the next year, we're going to see more normal? What do you think it will be doing next summer at this time?
I'm hoping midsummer of this year that we're going to see, you know, people for the most part will have the vaccinations, and, you know, we'll be able to be kind of more normal than we have been. And I think that'll calm some people down. And but if you're a seller and you're thinking about selling, this is the time to grab the brass ring, because there is high demand right now. We've got more buyers than sellers for sure.
Yes, I can imagine. I know I kind of feel sorry for brokers at this time, because of it seems like your paperwork is quadrupled. I mean, you're trying to be fair to every buyer, right? So don't you have to evaluate like 2 and 3 times more offers right now than you typically would?
Yeah, we're seeing, at least in Port Townsend, we're seeing probably 3 to 4 offers on average, up to, I think the highest I've seen is 24 offers.
Wow,
so
that's incredible.
Yeah, buyers have to be ready to be competitive, and sellers have to be ready to feel, you know, most people are not living for the money, right? So
Mm-hmm.
a seller, when they get to this position and they've got 17 offers on the table, there can be some guilt associated with that because,
Mm-hmm.
we all want to support our fellow man, woman, they,
Sure.
and so
Yeah.
um,
Person.
a
Yeah.
person. So it's interesting to go through this type of market because they want to be fair, but at the same time, they have to balance. Most of these people are selling for their retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously there's some insecurity about how much money do I need for my retirement.
Sure.
And so we have seen some sellers um, who have picked folks with lower offers because they like their love letter. Like, oh, this is a single parent, and I want to help her out because I was there at some point,
Yep.
and so
Yep.
we have to be careful about that. But we are seeing a lot of love letters. We have to abide by fair housing
Mm-hmm.
regulations.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the sellers have been swayed from time to time from going for the big bucks to helping a first-time home buyer. So there is hope
Yeah. Yes.
for a
No,
buyer.
yeah, that's encouraging to hear. And I think on the other side of that too is if you have an opportunity to sell your home for more than you expected, think of the longevity there as well. So think of the retirement gap or whatever that is in your future that, it's not always greed and horrible to really take advantage of a good opportunity. And I think, we pay Pacific Northwest is not an inexpensive place to live. So on the other side, it's also you can see it as an opportunity. So, but I love to hear those. I never had heard that term love letter, and I love to hear that people are having a heart and enabling people to get into homes in good neighborhoods. It's very cool.
Yeah,
So,
and
yeah.
that's part of what I love about this industry is, it's
Mhm.
not just about the money, it's about helping people and passing along maybe a house that you've lived in for 30 years to someone
Mhm.
else who is where you were 30 years ago, so
Yeah.
that's really satisfying.
Yeah, I can't tell you that I remember the name of the realtor company, but I will never, ever forget the real estate agent that sold myself and my spouse our home in Texas. She said to me, just think you get to move in here and make this beautiful for the next person. And I thought, are you crazy? I'm just trying to find a bedroom for my kid. And I mean, I'm like, but that stuck with me forever that she said that. And sure enough, we built a garden and we replaced the flooring and we made it a beautiful home. And it was more beautiful than when we moved into it. But I just thought
Yeah,
that was such an amazing attitude that she had, that she's like, she knew that her business was about people and it wasn't just about, closing the deal and moving us in. It was like, hey,
oh
you
no,
get to contribute to the lives of the future people that are going to live in this home. And I thought,
yeah,
wow,
yeah.
I need to be more like her. What a future thinker. It was very impressive. So,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
we're helping people find a home, and not just a
Yes.
house, a home
Yes.
where
Oh,
they're going
yeah.
to create memories, and
Mm-hmm.
then the next person is going to inherit it and get their own take on living in that home. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's I love historical buildings anyway, and so for me, it's
Mm-hmm.
all about passing this home down to the next generation and the next
To
people
care
who are
for.
going to take care
Yeah.
of it. Yeah.
To care for and
Yeah.
preserve. I think we should spend some time on one of your broadcasts looking at some of these amazing homes that are in the area that you service. I think it would be fun
Yeah,
to look at.
I'd love to do that.
You can explain to people what they're like, but until you see them and drive through some of those neighborhoods and see the history that's preserved and the care that people take to preserve it, it's kind of hard to explain. It'd be fun to show some of those pictures. So it's always good to
Yeah.
see you and chat with you. It was fun to talk facts today, and we'll be talking to you again in a couple weeks. And
All
I
right.
hope you have a
Sounds
great
good.
weekend.
Thank
So
you. You too. See you later.
bye.
Bye.